Good morning to all our viewers in Africa and beyond. Welcome to Breakfast Central on News Central. I am Joe Hansen.
And I am Oluchi Enabong. It's a pleasure to have you join us on today's program. But let's get us started by giving you our headlines for today, Thursday, October 28, 2021.
And on the headlines today, South Africa, we will go there. Review of Jacob Zuma's plea.
And in Zimbabwe, remember the story of the death threat to gay couple? It's all fake news.
We'll also bring you this very important piece, improving learning for the African child.
And plus, the Nigerian beauty industry gets a facelift.
And don't forget too, we have the front pages of the newspapers, so do well to stay with us. This is Breakfast Central.
Many thanks for joining. You're still watching Breakfast Central on News Central. Now let's take you through some of the front pages of the dailies that we have for you today, Thursday, October 28, 2021.
And we're going to start right away with The Punch in Nigeria. Let's take a look at the paper, The Punch. You can find the story there, the big one. PDP moves to save convention, pressures Secondus over suit. That you would find on page 2. We've received no response to our suit, says Oyetibo, ruling host today. Don't make our party ungovernable. BOT chair appeals to Secondus. And then you can also see the picture, that picture right there, of the deplorable state of the road condition. Now, protest over bad Lagos-Abeokuta road, unfortunate, political, Abiodun says. Now, that's true. If you take a look at that, the condition of that road in the pictures, you would rightly agree with me that this is absolutely not good at all. But let's also check out what we have still in the front page of The Punch. After 48 hours, E-Naira app removed from Google Store amid criticism.
Oh, no.
What is going on?
No way.
Anyway, NMPC will construct 21 federal roads with 621.2 billion naira in 3 years. Many people are asking the question, how many more years do you have in your tenure? That's what people are asking. Will there be continuity? Anyway, you can read that and get more information on that story on page 24. Page 2, $408 million deduction suspended as federal government states meet for FAAC today. And then we have another one. Petrol subsidy may climb to 3 trillion naira in 1 year, according to NMPC. So these are some of the stories you find. We have that on the front pages, but you find them inside the Punch newspaper.
Joe, I hope a lot of Nigerians are getting ready for the removal of fuel subsidy come next year.
That's really going to be huge. That's a big
challenge.
one.
All right, let's move on from the Punch in Nigeria to Newsday in Zimbabwe. Now, the Newsday is talking about the situation of things happening in the country there. Now, UN calls for dialogue. That's a big, major story. You can see it's also on page 2 of the Newsday newspaper as well. Now, you can see on page 3 here, court removes Mugabe exhumation challenge from urgent role. That's on page 3 of the Newsday newspaper. And also from page 2, you can get the story that talks about Chamisa claims attack in Mash West. Chamisa claims attacks in Mash West. That's also on page 2 of the Newsday from Zimbabwe.
All right, away from the Newsday, let's go straight to the Citizen. That's the next paper we're going to look at, all the way in Tanzania. Drought could hit key sectors, TMA cautions. Now, that is the big one too there. Several important sectors are likely to suffer as a result of droughts that will be caused by a shortage of rainfall between November and next January. The Tanzania Meteorological Authority has actually warned. So that's a big story. That's a key one. You find that that story on page 2. Also, there's a big one too. Government eyes 17.2 trillion shillings as nickel project gets the nod. It's all about the nickel project. Well, the government actually is expecting to collect an estimated $7.5 billion. That's about 17.2 trillion shillings through various fees and taxes over the next 33 years from the Kabanga nickel mining project, after presenting Tembo Nickel Corporation Limited with a license yesterday. So what that means is an approval has been given. Work needs to start immediately. And you can read more about that story anyway. We're not here to actually give you all the details, but make sure you check out the headlines. I'll take one last one. It says, Nectar vows to stamp out exam leakages. Nectar vows to stamp out exam leakages. As this year's Standard 4 National Assessment begins today, the National Examination Council of Tanzania said yesterday it will seal all examination leakage loopholes. No more leakages. That's what you have on the front page of the Citizen.
And to wrap up the dailies for today, we're stopping at Kenya now, looking at the Daily Nation in Kenya. The Daily Nation is all about manifesto in preparation for the general election come next year. Now, the major story here says Uhuru Raila delay Nairobi campaigns. That's on page 5. It says a long wait, but you need to go to page 5 for more details on that. Now, you can see this picture here. It's a very sad situation. A similar story that Joe just spoke about in the paper he read out. You can also see this picture here. This is a woman, Mrs. Fatuma No, who feeds a son in the Waji County. Now, her children are severely malnourished and have been only feeding on black tea and porridge. Joe, that's a very sad one. You can see from this image we're seeing here, the woman herself is severely malnourished as well as her child, but there's more details on that. It says drought puts more at risk of starvation. That's on page 10 of the paper this morning, the Daily Nation. Now, talking about manifesto on page 6, Mudavadi promises to cut debt, jumpstart the economy. Well, how will he do that? You need to go to page 6 of the Daily Nation this morning.
Well, away from the papers that we've brought to you this morning on the front pages, it's time for us to bring to you our top stories for today. And here they are. We start off in South Africa with a review of former South African President Jacob Zuma, where the country's High Court has dismissed his plea to remove the prosecutor from his corruption case. Well, Zuma has been accused of soliciting bribes from arms dealers in the 1990s, in addition to leaking private medical records being used in his corruption case to the media.
Now, the former president has pleaded not guilty on all charges, arguing that the prosecutor had been biased against him, creating an unfair trial due to the failure to stay impartial within his judicial duties. Now, let's take a listen to KwaZulu-Natal High Court Judge Piet Quinn as he delivered the judgment.
The fundamental basis upon which Mr. Zuma seeks to advance the argument that Mr. Dana has no title to prosecute is that his rights under Section 35(3) of the Constitution are threatened, that Mr. Dana is neither independent nor impartial, and that he, that is Mr. Zuma, will not enjoy a fair trial. The written judgment accordingly concludes with the following order being granted. 1. The special plea is dismissed. 2. The matter is directed to proceed to trial in respect of the not guilty pleas of Mr. Zuma and Thales. And 3. Paragraph 3 of the court order of 10 August 2021, as now clarified in paragraph 284 above, stands. This matter then is adjourned to the 11th of April 2022 for trial.
Well, that's what you've seen there. And you can recall that earlier on here on News Central, we did have our correspondent all the way from South Africa. I'm talking about Candice Bailey. And of course, they broke this down and the postponement as well concerning that judgment. But it's all going to be clearer as we move closer to a lot of things that will be opened up to each and every one of us, especially for those in South Africa who are following this case very closely. Oluchi, it's indeed one thing that we also are doing here at News Central. And on Breakfast Central, we will be bringing someone on board to talk to us concerning that.
Definitely. And also, let's not forget that Zuma accused Downer of leaking sensitive information in the case to media, including a confidential medical report that had been leaked to, that had been given to the state prosecutor. Now, he came out to say the state prosecutor leaked it out to the media.
Quite interesting. We have a report that's coming up next on our top story, and that will take us straight to Africa Report. Let's quickly tell you this, and that will be in South Africa, where we will be looking at one of the big stories now. Particularly, to be precise, we hear that the country's constitution in Zimbabwe prohibits a same-sex marriage. Article 78, subsection 3 states categorically that persons of the same sex are prohibited from marrying each other. It is on the premise that fake news articles like the recent one that was actually trending and went viral on social media, claiming that a gay couple had been sentenced to death, thereby perpetuating hate, stigma and violence towards the LGBTQI community in the country.
To discuss more on how such fake news poses danger to the LGBTQI community, we have Imelda Gutima. She is the Communications Officer, Association of LGBTI People in Zimbabwe, GALS. Welcome, Imelda. Thank you for joining. Now, what effect does fake news such as the one about the gay couple being sentenced to death in Zimbabwe have on the LGBTQI in Zimbabwe?
Thank you for having me. The first thing is that it's extremely disturbing for us because we know we live in a conservative society that marginalizes LGBTI people and puts them in danger of various violations, everything from hate speech to assault to, we used to have lots of raids, surveillance and things like that. And so what we found is during the COVID-19 time, there's been an increase in the amount of time that people spend online, which means that the community that's already been marginalized becomes a further target or an easy scapegoat or an easy victim for people to target online. And that just puts LGBT people in danger of even the most basic things like outing in a workplace, which could result in dismissal.
All right, Imelda, it's also understood that sometimes they are actually, aside from being marginalized, they're also being treated unjustly, they're being attacked. And I'd like to get this clearly. Is it true that lesbians are allowed, but of course the others are not, especially in Zimbabwe? Is that true?
So yes, to a certain extent. What it is that our criminal code criminalizes what is labeled as sodomy or conduct that can be interpreted as obscene or offensive. And that's where you have same-sex partnerships or same-sex relations actually between males. The Constitution is silent on females. But what you find is that because the Constitution is open to such interpretations, everyone who is a sexual minority is then thrown under the bus or endangered.
Right. Now, looking at the situation, I mean, we have other neighboring countries that are around Zimbabwe, countries like South Africa, Botswana, and even Mozambique, which have recently enacted LGBT protections. But has the LGBTQI community in Zimbabwe ever challenged that constitution or even demand an amendment for recognition?
So what we have been doing for the 31 years that we've been in existence is trying to ensure that there's high-level lobbying that takes place, that there is engagement with parliamentarians who are open to listening to the challenges of LGBTI people. Where it becomes a challenge, for example, is strategic litigation, where you can have a case of violation, but for an individual to feel open enough to take that issue to the courts and to continue with it all the way up to the High Court and the Supreme Court, you find that's very difficult for a lot of LGBTI people because they fear the repercussions of coming out into the open. We have had a few cases that have gone to court. For example, the case of Ricky Nathanson, a transgender woman, where there was an issue about her use of a female toilet, and the ruling was actually favorable. But that's one in a case of multiple violations. So you do find that the culture of fear makes it difficult for people to actually take their cases to court. A lot of times when violations take place, people will elect not to even report it because they don't want to be victimized within the police station.
All right, Imelda, according to a 2018 survey, it says that 50% of gay men in Zimbabwe had been physically assaulted and 64% had been disowned by their families, while 27% of lesbians also reported disownment. What is the agitation, and what is your company, your organization, doing to support these agitations, if there's any?
Okay, so the main issue in Zimbabwe, of course, is that religion and religious beliefs tend to ascribe that same-sex partnerships are wrong, and then you have the various individuals who will say that, you know, culturally it's wrong. And then you have the legal system and the history that we had in our prior administration under Robert Mugabe, which immediately criminalized just the very presence of LGBTI people. So what we do as an organization, GALS's mandate is the protection, the promotion, and the representation of LGBTI rights. One of the things that we do through our counseling and psycho support unit is the collection of violations data, which we then use to present, for example, when we have engagements with lawmakers as well as law enforcement. We've had various engagements with the police in the country, and we take this evidence and we use it to try and ensure that we can somehow get better treatment for individuals, for example, if they have been detained. We've done a few sensitizations with police stations around the country, and it's something that is continuously ongoing to try and ensure that our members are safe. We also have internal programs to do with safety and security, for example, on online safety and how to determine what is fake news and how to protect yourself in digital spaces.
Right now, Imelda, looking at this case study about the gay couple where the death threat was fake, as it were, how has the gay couple, how have they tried to move on, and what has your company done to show support in situations like this?
So firstly, you know, what we always try to do is ensure that we are dealing with individuals in a way that is comfortable to them. You know, the last thing you want to do is ever parade people around or, you know, post them up on social media as a way to say we're supporting. So we try to keep our support as private as possible. We offer psychosocial support. And also just the issue of trying to educate our membership on, you know, the dangers of sharing. I mean, there's wonderful events such as an engagement and things like that, but you also have to be very aware of the environment that we live in. And so it is an ongoing process, and what we're hoping for is that, you know, people will take it to heart that this is a difficult society to navigate in, and that the journey is still long to get to a point where individuals can safely be within their couples and celebrating their situations without fear of detainment or any type of attack.
All right, Imelda, I know we are pressed for time. I could hear the director saying it's time up, but I just need to ask you one last question quickly, 30 seconds. What are the religious bodies doing about this? What does the religious bodies there in Zimbabwe, what do they have to say concerning this?
So you do have a situation where there are a few religious leaders who will be willing to engage with us at sensitization and engagement meetings. But more often than not, there is a very staunch refusal because they feel like, oh, if they fraternize with an organization such as GALS, what will people say about them? We are in the process through our advocacy unit of engaging, for example, the Zimbabwe Council of Churches and other organizations that represent the interests of religious bodies. And we're hoping, it's a long process. Advocacy is not an event, it is a continuous process. And we are hopeful that we will have more positive views coming from the society.
Right. Thank you so much, Imelda Gwitima, Communications Officer for the Association of LGBTI People in Zimbabwe, GALS. Thank you once again for coming.
Thank you.
All right, so moving on, still with our top stories away from Zimbabwe now. Let's quickly tell you that the Apex Igbo Socio-Cultural Organization, Igbo, has appealed to the indigenous people of Biafra to reconsider the 7-day sit-at-home order in the southeast from November 5 to November 11 to enable the governorship election for Anambra State scheduled for November 6 to hold. It added that the disruption of Anambra election will be a major setback for Igbos.
Now, in a statement signed by its National Publicity Secretary, Chief Alex Ogbonnaya, the group noted the importance of Anambra State and the economic value it brings to the Southeast.
Well, also Igbo called on the Chairman Southeast Governors Forum and the Governor of Ebonyi State, David Umahi, to convene an emergency meeting of Igbo stakeholders and youth leaders to address the crisis in the Southeast, especially relating to Anambra State election and the political solution for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So there you have that's the update coming from the East, and we can rightly say that it's countdown to the elections, Oluchi,
right?
And everybody is starting to talk. Remember, yesterday on the show on breakfast, we had rightly mentioned that we haven't heard a word from Mohamed Ndigbo, even from the governors, but now they've come out to actually speak.
It's becoming quite tense in the Southeast now, especially Anambra State, as we count down to the November 6th election. Let's also not forget that Mondays, because it's been Mondays back to back in the past weeks, there's been this sit-at-home order by IPOC, and it has been obeyed to a larger extent by the people of Anambra State. And the state governor in Anambra State has come out, that's Mayor Governor Obiano, has come out to say that we need to make Saturday a work day for schools to open, for children to go to school, for children to learn. Since Monday is a sit-at-home day, and a lot of people have obeyed that, we now need to make Saturday a day for schools to open and for students and teachers to come to school. It has been taken with mixed reactions. Some people have accepted it, some people are challenging it, saying, why do we need to make a weekend a weekday in the state?
Well, that's a big one, no doubt. But let's quickly also tell you that we have this very beautiful piece focused on the education sector. No doubt, education experts say that 99,000 of the 100,000 children born daily in Africa will not read and write at the age of 10. Hence, the call on African governments, leaders and stakeholders to make the foundational learning skills of children a key priority. While launching the Human Capital Africa Advocacy Group in the Nigerian capital, Abuja, well, the experts called for radical changes to transform the fortunes of the continent. Our correspondent Amadine Uyi filed in this report.
According to a UNESCO 2018 report, about 258.4 million children, adolescents and youths are out of school worldwide. The report reveals that sub-Saharan Africa boasts of the highest rates of education exclusion. It indicates that over 1/5 of children between the ages of 6 and 11 are out of school. It also adds that almost 60% of youth between the ages of 15 and 17 are not in school. This education expert says speaks poorly of the situation in Africa, as learning has not been given the right priority.
Learning is so critical because learning is a lifelong process. If people are not able to learn basic things of literacy and numeracy that 10-year-olds can do at the right time that they should be able to do it, then you already know that the future will be bleak.
They say Focus on Africa reveals that the situation is critical, as 9 out of 10 children born within the continent do not have access to quality learning opportunities and therefore cannot read and write.
Over 100,000 children that are born in sub-Saharan Africa every day, around 90,000 are currently not able to read a simple sentence by the age of 10 or 11 compared to their counterparts, their peers around the world.
At this launch of the Human Capital Africa, an advocacy and accountability organization in Nigeria, experts from across the continent say the time is right to mobilize African states to improve foundational literacy skills for children on the continent. They say foundational learning and numeracy, especially for children under the age of 10, is critical to improving the fortunes of the continent.
The future of nations lies in the learning and numeracy of our children. Like the word, very foundational. You can't put something on nothing. It's a legal maxim in law. It will never stand.
Research shows that the learning gap between advantaged and disadvantaged children can show up as early as 9 months old. A recent study shows that by age 3, children of low-income families had half the vocabulary of children from advantaged families at age 3. By the time they begin primary school, disadvantaged children can be as far behind as 18 months behind their counterparts, and this is in terms of knowledge and competencies.
Research shows that people with poor quality education, obviously, as we all know, are more likely to be unemployed or underemployed as youths and adults.
They call on African governments to adopt foundational learning of children as a key priority.
There is no better way to build the future than by building first our children through quality education, and not just education itself.
If we must have Africa work, then our educational system must work from 0 to 10.
From Abuja, Amadine Uyi, News Central Television.
Quite an amazing report there coming from Amadine Uyi. And talking of education, we also saw Obi Ezekwesili, who has been one person at the forefront of pushing for the child education. And we hope that with leaders who will come together, there will be a positive result. And
let's hope the numbers that we keep having every year would 1 year come down. I mean, in Nigeria alone, we have over 10 million children who are out of school, with 1/5 of them being between the age of 6 to 11 years old. And 60% of that number, of all the numbers that we just called now, the girl child is actually affected by that. So
that's right. That's right. That's true. I agree. I completely agree with you. I completely agree with the fact that we're trying to do something very, very important, especially for the African continent.
All right.
And talking about the African continent, let's quickly bring you a recap of some of the top stories that we brought to you this morning, just in case you missed out. And here they are, our recap for today. We told you earlier that there's a review of Jacob Zuma's plea, and we brought that to you.
And we also went to Zimbabwe. The death threat to the gay couple, it's all fake news.
And also, you just heard and saw in the report, group calls for improved learning for the African child. We have coming up next on Breakfast Central this morning.
Building the future of Nigeria's beauty industry.
We'll also look at trends from across the continent of Africa.
And programs to watch later today on News Central.
You're watching Breakfast Central, and I have found myself here this morning at this point, and it's just for a good reason. That's because Oluchi decided to actually boot me out because she has a guest. Oluchi, that's quite unfair though, on a Thursday morning. How you doing, Oluchi? And not Oluchi, by the way. How you doing, our guest?
Hi. She's looking fabulous, I must say. I need to confess that. Beautiful.
Thank you.
All right, go ahead, have fun.
All right, now the concept of spa is a way to make you a more healthy and relaxed person, and its origin goes back to ancient times. Now, spa's popularity is founded on that long history with its healing powers of spring water discovered by the old Greeks. Now, being a leading wellness and luxury spa company in Nigeria with a global reach of efficiency and reliability, and the first and only Nigerian brand to operate a luxury spa chain, coupled with its own farm to skin product range, I have in the studio the founder, Oriki Lagos, Joy Awoshika. Welcome to the program, Joy.
Hi, Lucy. How are you?
It's so lovely to have you here.
Thank you so much for
So
having
now
me.
tell us all about the Oriki Spa.
Yeah. So Oriki, I love the background that you just shared. Oriki is an all-natural product range first, right? We started off with a farm to skin product range, discovering the unique ingredients sourced from around Nigeria and the continent of Africa, turning them into finished goods. And then we decided that, you know what, we need to have an experience. We created the Oriki Spa because we wanted people to come in and actually engage with the products. Imagine you wanting to buy a new facial cleanser, you're not sure, you know, how it is. You can come in and have a facial, utilize it, use it, and then you purchase. So over the years, we've had the opportunity of building 6 different spa locations.
Wow.
And we are just on a mission to leave a piece of Africa around the world.
6 different spa locations,
Yes,
Joycey.
yes.
I mean, so now it goes to say that the Oriki Group is beyond just a spa.
Yeah.
What are the franchise and the other training institutions that you have, or the institutes?
So I'm so excited to announce that next week we're actually launching the Training Institute. We've seen a gap in the sector. You know, post-COVID, everyone is much more focused on wellness.
Right.
Everyone wants to ensure they feel good, prolong their life, look good, everything. And so we've seen an increase in the number of people that visit the spa. And we'd like to make sure we go into as many communities as we can. So we're going to be launching the Oriki franchise opportunity. First franchisees will be in Accra, Ghana, and in Ikoyi. And the plan is to just bring an Oriki spa near you. In addition to that, we've seen that the number of spa therapists, professional ones, you know, they're not enough to fill the demand. So we're launching the Training Institute to give people the vocational skill, the learning, the knowledge to start a rewarding career in the spa and wellness industry.
You know, if you had come up with this idea some 35 years ago, some 40 years ago, people would have said, nah, you can't thrive in Nigeria. This can't work. But now looking at our Nigeria's beauty industry, it has grown from 2009 to this present day by over 35%. Now it says that the industry has the potential to make over 29 million naira, and we're barely scratching the surface.
Yeah.
So now you've talked about franchise. Let's talk about partnership.
Yes.
Now, when we're looking at partnership and franchises, how many franchise can a partner own?
Okay,
And
that's
are there certain terms and conditions to it?
Yeah, absolutely. So we want to empower our franchisees to be as successful as they can be, to make as much revenue as they can. So we allow franchisees to have up to 5 different locations. However, we start with 1, of course. Let's see how it goes. We give you everything you need. So we handhold you.
No, hold
as a
on.
partner.
Literally everything the person needs.
Imagine it being a business in a box. We literally give them the full operations manual, recruitment style, marketing. We support them with the marketing. We help them find their location if they haven't found their location.
No way.
Everything you need, engine optimization, everything that you need, we create for you. And we've been working on this for a year and a half. We're finally ready to launch. Partnership is very key. You said something important. 35 years ago in Nigeria might have been difficult. People aren't really even talking about franchise as much. However, so many people want to be entrepreneurs in Nigeria, but they don't know the how. So why not couple and join into a business that has already created the blueprint for it, tap into it, and make money while you sleep?
Talk about walking into a business store with everything there for you, just walking in. I mean, you just have a cloth or two, but everything is there for you. Oh my goodness, this is fantastic. It's a fantastic one. Now tell us your challenges. How has it been so far? I know this is not a walk in the park, and you're a lady, a woman in business. What are the challenges?
There are a lot, Aluchi. We can't talk about it all today.
I know.
However, there's grace. There's grace. So for me, you know, we just clocked 6 years on the 25th on Monday, and it's been 6 years of thank you journey, milestone. There are a lot of challenges. We wish for a more enabling environment. You know, we wish for more support from the government. You know, other countries were giving their entrepreneurs COVID relief, you know, significant amount of COVID relief during that time. We wish for things like that. Obviously, we know the major ones, power and all that, but also just even security, support for our team members, there's just so many things you have to think about as an entrepreneur, almost ensuring that you have a government, you are creating everything you need for your company to thrive, things that would have normally just been easier to do. We commend the efforts so far on, certain things. There was some relief given a little bit, but there is just a lot more work to do to ensure that businesses can thrive in this environment.
Beautiful. I think I love the concept. I love everything about the franchise. Now, as a female leader, looking at yourself, the franchise, is it open to just females or is it open to both sex? It depends on
we
you
do not discriminate. Naturally in this industry, I think a lot more females would want to own a spa, but I think men and women are looking into the fact that it's a lucrative industry. I want to just correct something you said or even amplify it. It's a $128 billion industry. Look,
I just told you know what? Yes. Joyce, I wanted to be very humble.
Yes.
I gave out humble
your humility.
Numbers.
Let's make it really
make it humble for you guys. I didn't want to overwhelm people, Joyce. But let's just...
No, it's huge. So, of course, there'll be some men who wake up and say, I want to open an Oriki spa or a spa, and I want to pass it on as legacy.
Oriki. I like the name.
Yes, because Oriki is memorable. When we open an Oriki in Belgium or the US or the UK, they're going to want to research what that name means.
I'm telling you, oh my goodness. Joyce Awoshika, it's been a lovely delight having you in the studio. But thank you so much for coming. Wish you the very best. And for everybody who's looking out to having a franchise, just remember you have Joyce and the Oriki Spa. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, you're still on Breakfast Central on News Central. Coming up next is Trend Wave.
Okay.
Many thanks for joining. Now to bring us Trend Wave this morning, we're joined by none other than Elizabeth Musa. Good morning, Lizzie. What's the latest?
Good morning, Oluchi. Good morning. I want to ask you a question before I go right into my Trend Wave. Unfortunately, Joe is not here, but I'm going to ask you this question. Is there a benchmark that you are aware of that makes cheating acceptable or unacceptable?
My sister, they say if you ask me, now who I go ask?
That's a big question too.
Interesting. So let me go right into my Trend Wave for today. Apparently, the former governor of Lagos State, of Ekiti State rather, last weekend at the wedding of his son, made a remark about the couple. He made prayers for the couple, and while making these prayers, he made mention of the fact that his son wouldn't have a reason to cheat because of the remarkable beauty trait that his newly wedded bride possesses. While this may sound pleasant to, the bride, it leaves so many questions unanswered. Just like the question I asked you earlier, is there a benchmark for cheating? Of course, netizens are having a field day reacting to this. We'll check out some of these reactions straight away. Now, that's a reaction from Jer Malik. Jer Malik says, a cheat is a cheat. You can have a wife as beautiful as the Kardashians and still cheat on you with someone like Mr. Ibu. Wow, I didn't say that. So that's also one from Papitino. Papitino says, if you like, be Miss World. Man, when go cheat, go cheat. Let's take a look at some more reactions. This person, Call Me Dammy, says, the prayer chokes. Of course, Ellen Onoche says, I laugh in Spanish. If you find like which, it only takes the grace of God for a man not to cheat. Wow. We also have a remark from Toby Loba. Toby Loba says, the Yoruba version, this is the Yoruba version of the song. Who be that sweet girl now? Baba Sabi lined. Then we also have a remark from, we have more remarks from Billionaire Africa. Billionaire Africa says, wait, people have excuses to cheat. But wait, I want us to take a look at this video, first of all, where Fayose was speaking.
Define your own family. Define your own future.
I'm sure that's a sweet girl.
Of course, that's the video right there. So of course, it says, you have flat stomach, you have white teeth. I have white teeth too, and then you're beautiful. So that makes you above cheating. Sort of. That's what he has to say.
But really, I don't think he meant it that way. He was just trying to create a light scenario of the situation. There actually isn't, in my own opinion, there's no standard for anyone who wants to cheat.
Don't you think you should have just made a prayer and just prayed for him and kept it moving?
Lizzie,
It was 5 seconds of fame.
Lizzie, Oluchi, is it your prayer?
Of course it's not.
It's our prayer.
It's not. Okay, very quickly, let's move to South Africa. Well, it's quite a chilly story if you ask me. It's all about the Tembisa 10. Now, earlier in the year, in the month of June, an interesting but shocking story of a woman who gave birth to 10 children was released. Now, in a series of events, which is quite shocking, it's now alleged that the said delivery perhaps never occurred. The said story was published by editor Piet Rampedi, and the story claimed that a Tembisa woman by name Gosiame Sitole had given birth to 10 babies. The veracity of the story was widely questioned when several elements couldn't be proven, including the actual hospital where Sitole had given birth. According to reports, the father of the children admitted that he had not seen the babies and had relied on Sitole's account when he posed for cameras as the parent of newly born decuplets. Now, this is quite tricky, right? It will interest you to know that in a series of ongoing investigations, it is alleged that Gosiame might have been a victim of a syndicate of human traffickers posing as gynecologists and obstetricians operating in the private sector and using state hospitals to perpetuate their evil act. Now, investigations are still ongoing, and we'll keep an eye on this story and bring you updates on Trendwave. But before then, let's take a look at some of the reactions people are making on this. Now we have Modiba. It says, baby trafficking is big in SA, especially in government hospitals. There's no way Piet would write a story about babies if they didn't exist. The hospital and its corrupt staff know what happened and what they did. And it goes on with the hashtag truth about Tembisa 10, which is the big trend currently in South Africa. That's also Modibe continuing. Modibe says, the mother of the babies was told to give the babies up for adoption and that the money to deliver and everything else would be sorted. We live with scavengers. Now, Modibe is saying this for a fact, but it's not yet proven. Investigations are still ongoing. Now, Zandile Excel says, Piet was actually right about the Tembisa 10. That lady did indeed deliver the 10 babies, and 2 of the babies died due to hospital negligence. That's why our government was trying to hide it. This is quite interesting. Now, Dr. Abednego says, this Tembisa 10 story is shocking. While 10 babies were human trafficked with the help of doctors, nurses, politicians, and journalists. Wow, indeed. Very, very shocking. And that's also Modibe. Modibe continues and says, the lady who was suspended from the hospital and who took the pictures of the babies must be protected. She must also be brave enough to come out and defend the matter. The CEO of that hospital needs to answer. Why does the CEO keep running away? That's the trend currently in South Africa. Big trend, if you ask me, and we are keeping an eye on this story, and I'll bring you updates on this on Trendwave.
Easy, quite shocking, I could say. 10 babies, and yet the accounts are different. From 2 died to where are the babies? The husband, what really shocked me was the fact that the husband said he just posed for the cameras. Like, how?
How?
Who does that?
How?
You need to
so
check
many
on your
questions.
babies.
Wow, it's a sad one. I mean, thank you so much, Elizabeth Musa. Just as you said, we will be following up on this story as it unfolds. But thank you once again for bringing the latest in Trendwave. All right, many thanks for watching. This is still Breakfast Central on News Central. Still to come on the program.
And still to come, Barcelona sack Ronald Koeman as head coach. Trending story, still trending. I saw it coming, by the way. Anyway, we'll talk about that right here after we come back from the break. It's time for sports here on Breakfast Central, and Tolu Show today is on standby. Big story, though I saw it coming, Tolu. I know you equally did the same. Did you see that coming right away in Barcelona?
All right, I think everybody has to understand what this big story is. It isn't Manchester City getting knocked out of the EFL Cup. It's Barcelona sacking Ronald Koeman. I probably thought it would happen, but after the first few games of the season, I actually didn't think it was going to happen. It's a very convoluted relationship, Koeman and Barcelona. Remember at the start of the season, when he sold Lionel Messi, he made it very clear that wasn't his decision. When he sold Antoine Griezmann, he made it very clear that wasn't his decision. He did talk about the fact that they'd lost a lot of leaders in the team, and the team didn't have any balance. I think he's probably a very, very he's a victim here. I think that's what everybody must understand. I don't think you should read much into what the Barcelona papers say because they'll support the club. But I think this man has been very, very unfairly treated at Barcelona. He's probably got the worst Barcelona team in almost a century, if you put it that way. You look at Barcelona when they play nowadays, and they're very unrecognizable. They've lost to Atletico Madrid, they've lost to Real Madrid, and he's come out in press conferences after these games to say that Barcelona are not in the level of these guys. Look, the recent La Liga audit that was done showed that 7 teams in La Liga have more money to spend than Barcelona, even heading into the new season. So you know that the Barcelona problem is not one that will be solved in the next coming years. He's actually also entitled to a hefty payout. So Barcelona is saying they don't have any money, but this is a really huge statement from Barcelona. When the new president took over, he talked about the fact that he met up with Ronald Koeman and said, look, I don't want you to be manager. We're going to go look for a new manager. And Ronald Koeman said, no problem. And at the end of the day, they came back and said they couldn't find any other person and told him, okay, we're going to stick with you. So I think the relationship has been fractured from almost day one. And I think Lionel Messi leaving the club and all those high-profile exits have made sure that Barcelona are almost a team that no top manager, write this down, no top manager wants to go to the Nou Camp right now.
That's a big one. Anyway, you have more stories for us, Tolu. Please go ahead.
Yeah, and there was also action in the EFL Cup where Manchester City were knocked out for the first time in 5 years. They'd not lost an EFL Cup game in nearly 5 years. And guess the team that knocked them out, West Ham United. If they don't go on to win the trophy, they'll be really, really disappointed. Remember, they've knocked out Manchester United in the previous round. Now they've knocked out City. It was a very interesting game. Both teams created chances. It went down to penalties. And the Moroccan international side, Bernarama, he scored the vital penalty for West Ham as they have now advanced to the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup. There are no problems for all the other big guns. Liverpool also are through to the next round. They got a 2-0 win at Preston North, and a ridiculous goal from Divock Origi gave them the win in that one. So they won that one by 2 goals to nothing. So it's still a strong field in the EFL Cup. There's Arsenal in there. There's Chelsea still in the mix. There's now Liverpool. And of course, after they picked up that very vital win over Preston. And of course, West Ham United, after knocking out, like I said, United in the previous round and now City in this round, they will be taken seriously in this Carabao Cup. So Tottenham through to the next round. Leicester City are also through. They won on penalties after drawing 2-2 against Brighton and Hove Albion. Liverpool won at Preston North End by 2 goals to nothing. Brentford came back from a goal down to defeat Stoke City by 2 goals to 1. And at the bottom there, West Ham against City finished 0-0, but West Ham winning 5-3 on penalties. So that's the sport. It's back to you guys.
All right, thank you so much, Tolu Shotade, for that. But I was wondering who is going to who's going to take over as the head coach now. But let's just see how it all unfolds. Thank you so much.
No one's going to take over there. Trust me.
All right,
maybe
in case you just tuned in.
Tolu says nobody's going to take over there. But we hear Xavi might be going there, Tolu.
Okay. All right, in case you just tuned in, well, we're about to wrap up on the program, but you can head over to our YouTube channel to watch more. But here are some programs to catch on the channel later today.
We have Business Edge at 11 a.m.
And at 1 p.m. West African time, you can tune into Beyond the Continent.
And don't forget, at 5:30 p.m., it will be Report Desk Africa. Join our seasoned reporters to get all the latest. So we come to the end of another interesting edition or show or program, or call it what you want. But definitely it's the brightest show in the whole wide world.
All right, but before we wrap up, it is a special day for Ehibunu Godfrey, who is the MD CEO of Penjola Paints, a friend and family of News Central. Happy birthday from News Central. Well, on behalf of myself and Joe, production and technical team, we are wishing you a lovely day. See you tomorrow.